Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so ironically, my speech really broadens the topic that Meredith just spoke on. Tonight I'm going to speak on a very relatable topic, which is teaching students life skills before they're sent off into the real world. So while we all have a different background, age, and way we were raised, we're all in college right now. So let me ask you a question. Do you know how to file your taxes? Do you know the difference between the DMV and the tag office? I'm betting for some of y'all the answer is no to that, and that's nothing against anyone, but it's just not taught in schools. Those are just two examples of necessary life skills that you should have been taught in high school before you graduated. Along with the research I've done on this topic, I too am currently in the process of transitioning to adulthood from student life and realize the many complex skills that are necessary to make it in the real world. As most of us have either recently graduated or are parents of kids or will have future kids, it's important to really understand that these steps need to be taken to teach students life skills that will better our society in the long run. Many students feel uneducated when it comes to real life skills, but just one required class could really change that, improving their mental health and an overall contribution to society. So, first up, let's look at how many students do feel lost once they graduate high school. Many students struggle with self esteem and confidence when it comes to the transition between high school and the real adult world. With internet and social media taking a large toll on mental health, as we learned about last week, the negative thoughts seem to stack up quickly. Cyberbullying and the negative effects of the internet are one of the reasons there's a need for life skills now more than ever before. According to the Positive Action staff in an article, despite the wide range of information available on the web and its ability to teach students, the internet also unlocks new issues such as complex or misleading information. Teaching life skills in schools is critical and essential in improving mental well being through improved self esteem, self awareness, and overall mental health. Current required classes don't teach students how to complete these tasks that are essential for life, but rather give busy work that just takes up extra time. With the extra time that's being wasted doing busy work to prove to a teacher that she can find logarithms, students could instead be finding other ways to express themselves, relax, spend time with family, or working towards their end goal in life. In a survey I completed, about 50% of recent graduates said they felt very unprepared for the real life after graduating. So, next up, I'd like to discuss how there's an easy fix to this growing problem of young adults who are increasingly dependent on society. As it currently stands in my local school system, there are 28 credits required for graduation and 16 courses that are required. This means that instead of 16 courses chosen by each student based upon their personal interests, they would have 15 to pick from, and then the last one would just be the required skills course. This would mean that students would still have the remaining courses as opportunities to pick for something that personally interests them and would personally benefit the things they enjoy. As the way that the normal schedule is laid out, students have 4 classes each semester for 4 years. That's a total of 32 classes. You may be wondering where the 28 came from and why there's a difference. Students in my school system can graduate early if they take all the required courses and have 28 credits. A normal student who does not graduate early actually has 12 additional classes that they can choose for themselves. One out of just these 12 classes would not hurt a student's personal interest achievement if they were instead learning skills that are actually necessary and applicable to their everyday life once they graduate. In the survey that I completed, a majority of recent graduates said that they would not be upset or disappointed if school systems made a life skills that was required for graduation. While some say that current classes teach these skills, if they do, the classes still don't normally teach you how to apply them into real everyday life situations. Sure, accounting teaches you the formula for assets, for how to calculate the cost of goods sold, but is this something essential for life as soon as you graduate? For example, let's take a brick mason who works for a local company. He doesn't need to know this type of thing as soon as he graduates school. Instead, he needs to know things such as how to save and manage his money, as well as how to do his taxes, properly manage credit cards, and even manage his debt. If this sort of math is necessary for the career you're looking to go into, you will either learn it in the college classes that you take or once you go through the appropriate training for your job. Additionally, science can teach you how to find your direction using the sun or the melting point of ice or the boiling point of water, but it still doesn't teach you how to really apply this to cooking or a real situation in which you might be lost. Lastly, an English class may teach you to find the adverbs and adjectives in a sentence, which does prepare you for college, but it still doesn't help you when you're trying to write an email to your boss requesting time off. Now that we've seen there's an easy solution to a major problem, let's look at why the rest of the world should care. If you've ever dealt with someone who didn't know what they were talking about, you know the struggle and frustration that comes along with that situation. The rest of the world deals with this daily while we sit back and watch young adults stay clueless. Imagine if you grow up to become a receptionist in a doctor's office or at the DMV. Chances are most of the young adults who come into your office will not have some part of the information ready for you, whether it be their birth certificate, proof of insurance, or some kind of other documentation. As you can see, this would be very frustrating to the worker who's just simply trying to do their job. Improving efficiency is something every business owner strives to do. When many clueless young adults come into their business, an employee must spend more time helping them through something they should have already known. Then the company is wasting time and therefore making less money. I bet that's something many people don't think about. If people were knowledgeable about simple life tasks, it would eliminate frustration, stress, and overall make our society an easier place to live and work. If young adults were taught skills that are applicable to their everyday life while they're still in high school, they would be more confident in themselves and still feel more independent once they graduated. The fear of the unknown would almost always be eliminated from young adults, and they would feel less overwhelmed by the transition from high school student life to the real world. So, as many students feel uneducated when it comes to real life skills, just one required class could change that, improving their mental health and ability to contribute to society. So the next time you see a situation and think to yourself, man, this world has some really stupid people, just remember that with one more required class, the big majority of this issue could be solved. And this is just my citations.